The summer smiles, the summer knows, and unashamed she sheds her clothes. The summer smooth, the restless sky, and lovingly she warmed the sand on which you lie. The summer knows, the summer's wise. She sees the doubt within your eyes, and so she takes her summertime. Tell the moon to wait and the sun to linger, twist the world round her summer finger, lets you see the wonder of it all. And if you've learned your lesson well, there's little more for her to tell. One last caress, it's time to dress for the summer's wise. She sees the doubt within your heart, and so she takes her summertime. Tell the moon to wait and the sun to linger, twist the world round her summer finger, lets you see the wonder of it all. And if you've learned your lesson well, there's a little more for her to tell. One last caress, it's time to dress for
Rembrandt van Rijns beroemdste werk, De Nachtwacht, is door de schilder gemaakt naar aanleiding van een aan hem verleende opdracht ten behoeve van de schutters van de kloveniersdoelen. Het moest dienen ter versiering van de grote zaal. Maar Rembrandt was niet de enige die deze opdracht ontving. Ook aan Van der Helst en Govert Flink viel een dergelijke eer te beurt. Aanleiding tot het verlenen van deze opdracht was waarschijnlijk het bezoek van Maria de Medici in 1638, toen er ook grote parades door de schutterij werden gehouden. Nu wil het verhaal dat De Nachtwacht van Rembrandt niet zo in de smaak viel bij de opdrachtgevers. Maar hiervoor ontbreekt ieder bewijs. Zo, jongelui, en mag ik jullie nu voorstellen in de zaal hiernaast te gaan, waar we ter vergelijking nog een indruk kunnen krijgen van het werk van enige buitenlandse meesters.
First memory of the river consists mainly of light and space. I see myself and my father walking through the streets of our neighborhood, through Topstraat, past the square with the bathhouse and then into the broad Ruineerde, which did not turn into another street but ended in the broad road along the river, and so in a sea of sunlight in which trees rustled and flags fluttered and a great crowd of people on their feet, the rumble of which did not fill the space but fanned out in all directions, across the water and towards the sky. I must have been 2 or 3 years old, not much older, because I was sitting on my father's shoulders and my father is small and slender and not strong. I think there was a regatta or some other water party that he took me to, because in my memory the river is a carpet of silver waves with countless ships large and small. I had walked into the park on the east side, near a tram stop, and was delaying to leave it again. I thought the light would linger longer in the white avenues beyond than beer beneath the dark green leaves. I sought out the tall trees, avoided the parks and fields, walked along the fringes of the park. It wasn't until I saw the lantern's light that I walked out again and immediately found myself on the street where David lived. Opposite David's house, under the overhanging branches of a large tree. Anyone looking out from the windows of the first floor would hardly realize in the summer that he lived in the city, so dense and expansive were the foliage. The windows of the house were smooth and dark. I imagined the rooms, the lamps, the paintings in their twinkling frames on the walls, the shiny ones. Wish, but hardly realized what enormous step he had to take beyond his own territory to fulfill that wish, how far he had to go beyond the boundaries of what was appropriate and safe for him. After the first encounter with the river and the rowers, it had drawn me to the water permanently and irresistibly. Above all, remember, because as a small child I only left the house on Sundays, and even though we passed the river now and then, twisting my neck and head so as not to miss a moment of its sparkle, I don't remember him ever has again been the purpose of one of our outings. When we went out, the destination was almost always a house like ours, with equally small windows and equally solid and colorless furniture, so that if you did not know any better, the world outside and inside formed an exact copy, a mirror from each other, a privacy from which there was no way to escape. When I was a little older and sometimes only allowed outside, I was forbidden to walk further than the corners of our street. Hundreds of times I must have stood in front of that imaginary line that separated Topaz Street from Smaragd Street with its pavement flowing wide and steadily.
Papa! Jenny! Wat is dat nou? Waarom let je niet op? Jenny! Laat me lopen, die boot!
Nooit maat houden. Juffrouw Greet Reinders, het zwakke geslacht. Hé, hey, kom hier.
Wordt die de eerste keer gaan?
Ja, meneer. Zet er de wind onder, hè. Maar dat mag ook wel, want het is een stelletje wilde brassies, hoor.
Ze roeien toch niet gek, hè?
Wel, nee, meneer. Best. Er zit een opgelegd kampioenschap in, weet u dat, meneer? Maar ja, ze zijn zo speels, hè.
Meen je dat?
Ja, zeker, meneer. Zo. Gaat u, meneer. Mooi. Alsjeblieft, meneer. Zo. Voorzichtig, meneer. Alsjeblieft.
Dankjewel, Kees.
Tot dit niets, meneer. Roeien kan die ook niet.
Along the banks with us. Without a jacket, just dressed in a jacket. And one day only in shirt sleeves with rolled up cuffs. I remember that day because we suddenly saw someone else cycling along without any explanation or announcement, who formed a remarkable contrast with the familiar figure of our regular guide. The stranger was a heavy man, which could also be clearly seen from a distance, and where our coach might have Schneiderhahn, he said then. Alfred Schneiderhahn. Dr. Alfred Schneiderhahn. At these last words he bowed slightly. Actually more of us had stayed in the background. Guys. And he said nothing else, but he gestured like a variety director presenting an attraction. It was quiet for a moment. The huge man had slit his coat open, revealing a shiny waistcoat in which he put both his thumbs. Nod. Then he walked past the boat until he reached David, took a thumb out of his vest pocket, and pointed in his direction with a small gesture. Then he nodded again, as if to say yes, I mean you, turned and walked backwards, stepping carelessly over the outstretched oars, until he was standing in front of me. I raised my head and he gave me that same nod. And you, he wanted to say with that. There was a moment of These words outline the place where the Jewish boys' house Megadol Jethamim, established elsewhere in Amsterdam in 1738, did his blissful work, until March 1943, the German owner entered the house and taken the boys away. 3 carators remained voluntary with almost 100 children on the road to the destruction camp Sobibor. No one returned. Their memories are blessed.
parachute, the most compact in the world, worn like an ordinary hat. It will open in 25 feet. Demonstrate, Professor.
Herr Hinkel.
Herring, why do you waste my time like this?